p.m. already, Central European Time. Let's begin with ZLC's webinar. I would like to welcome Marta Romero, Director of International Masters, and Alvaro Lerma, he's a student. Good luck, everyone, and I hope you enjoy this webinar. Hola, Marta.
Oh, hello, Lucy. Thank you very much for hosting the event for us. I'm very happy to talk to you about our International Masters program, and I'm very grateful that Alvaro could join me today because they're always very busy, but especially this week they're extremely busy and they need to prepare a lot of things for what's to come next week. So today we're going to talk to you about the different options that you have in supply chain here in Zaragoza and also in Malaysia. So first of all, to give you some background information about the SCALE network. So we belong to the Supply Chain and Logistics Excellence Network. That means that we're associated with MIT, and our partner at MIT is the Center for Transportation and Logistics. So Zaragoza Logistics Center was the pioneer center that was created after MIT. We celebrated our 15th anniversary last year, and Alvaro's promotion is number 16, so they will be graduating in May. In 2008, there was the creation of the Center for Logistics Innovation in Latin America. More recently, the center in Malaysia in 2011, and the two new centers that were added to the logistics network were Ningbo and Luxembourg. So Ningbo in China, Luxembourg, of course, it's also the country. So overall, we have 14 educational programs, more than 100 academic partners. We have also plus 100 research and faculties, and we have a lot of corporate partners that would amount up to 200. The programs that we're going to talk to you today about, so these are the programs that are offered either by Zaragoza Logistics Center or in collaboration with another center. So the first one, which is a brand new program that we launched this year, is the Zaragoza Malaysia Global Master of Engineering in Supply Chain and Logistics. So that's the GSEM program. Then, of course, Alvaro can give you more information about the second one is the residential program. So it's the Master of Engineering in Logistics and Supply Chain Management program, more commonly known as ZLOG program. And of course, we will also talk about the blended program. That is an option that was developed already 3 years ago. So we currently have our third promotion here in Zaragoza. So as you will see on the screen, there is a common part of the three programs that will be the stay at MIT during 3 weeks in January. If you're enrolled or you're seeking enrollment for the program in collaboration with Malaysia, you will get to spend the first 5 months with us, go to MIT in January, and then you will spend the spring term in Malaysia. For the ZLOG program, you're going to be here in Zaragoza for 9 months and for the 3 weeks at MIT. And of course, if you're enrolled in the blended program, so you would have needed to complete the 5 online courses, then spend the 3 weeks at MIT with the cohorts of all the different scale programs, plus the 4 months here in Zaragoza, so from February until May. So first of all, so unfortunately, and I was happy to hear that there was a participant from Singapore. So our colleague in Malaysia couldn't join given the time and because he had other commitments, but he sent us the slides about Malaysia. So as you can see, it's the most attractive emerging market in Asia. You can see the lovely picture behind you, and also global competitiveness among Asian countries, and Kuala Lumpur is a livable cost of living in Asia, which is something that is definitely worth taking a look at. These are the facilities that they have in Kuala Lumpur, so very similar to what we have here, so in terms of classroom and the professors that are going to be teaching over there, the facilities, it's quite a brand new campus, and there's also plenty of space for the students to work, so you see some of the little cubicles in there. Then again, since David is not here today, if you have any questions for him, you can either send me an email or send an email to David directly if it's in regard to the MISI part of the program. Zaragoza, we can tell you more about Zaragoza, which is where we are now. So you can see on the picture is the Cathedral, El Pilar. So as you can see on the map, that's where the red dot is. That's where Zaragoza is located. Zaragoza is the 5th largest city of Spain. So it's situated 300 kilometers from one of the main 4 cities, which are, of course, Madrid, Barcelona, Bilbao, and Valencia. But you can also see on the circle that we're very well connected with some of the European cities that can be reached within 1,500 kilometers. So I'm a local, and I could tell you more about Zaragoza, but I think that you'd be willing to hear what Álvaro has to say. Okay, he's Spanish, but still he comes from a different city, so he can give you more information about what it is like to live in Zaragoza.
Thank you, Marta, and hello and welcome everyone. Yes, I'm not local, but I'm Spanish. But what I can say about Zaragoza is actually, from my point of view, is like a perfect city to study, to take a master, because of the size of the city. Is like, as Marta said, 800,000 inhabitants. But it's small in terms of surface. Everything is pretty much within walking distance. If not, there is a good transportation network with affordable prices, so you can actually easily manage to get everywhere in the city. So it's definitely a good city to take a master's. And regarding the weather, it is not at all the north of Europe. I was working there in north of Europe, and you don't get those sunny days that you can have here and enjoy in Zaragoza. And as you can see also in Madrid, Barcelona, within a radius of 300 kilometers. So it is definitely, if you have a free weekend, you can just go there, spend the weekend, and come back and study here in Zaragoza. So it's a really good city.
Yeah, and also it's good to say that it's an affordable city. If you compare it to Madrid, Barcelona, or some of the other European cities, you can go by with a budget of around 600 euros that would include accommodation, transportation, and your living expenses. Here we recently, so since we moved from the logistics platform to the facilities in Plaza that you can see on the picture. So this is the first year that we have a class that is going to be graduating here and that started here. So some of the students included Álvaro got scooter.
Yes.
So this is like the favorite mode of transportation nowadays from the students, but also it's very convenient in terms of how you get access to the city center. It's not far from the city center. You can either come by bus, by tram. There's also the bike sharing. There's also a path for the bike. So in that sense, it's very easy to come around, and it's not like you're going to be stuck in traffic. So I mean, the master is very intensive, and you're expected to dedicate many hours.
Yes.
And he can attest for that, of course. But the fact that the center is in the center, if I'm redundant, means a lot. It's like in 15-20 minutes you can go back and forth to your house and the logistics.
Actually, to add on this point, there is like plenty of kilometers of bike road through the city. So you can actually go from the city center to the ZLC center using the bike road, which is pretty good actually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So then, of course, if we talk about our center as the university, so we have 2 partners. So of course, the University of Zaragoza, which you may not be so familiar with, but the University of Zaragoza is one of the most ancient universities in Spain. It was founded in 1542. And then, of course, MIT, all of you know about the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. So it was founded in 1861, and there is many Nobel Prize winners among the faculty, researchers, and personal staff in MIT. So as I mentioned, so we associated with the Center for Transportation and Logistics, and that usually happened, it was a coincidence that the rector at that time of the University of Zaragoza and Joshi Shefe, who is the director of the CTL Center, they met at an event and they started discussing, okay, what is Zaragoza and what do you do? And they decided, okay, I see the possibilities of a center in Zaragoza. And here we are, 16 years after. Very happy to be offering the program to our students, and then to be adding new programs such as the blended program and the GSEM program. Also because this is something that we're very proud of. So we've been ranked #1 master in logistics and supply chain for 4 years in a row. This is Edu Universal. So this is a specific supply chain master's program that the ranking was for. Also in supply chain management world in Europe, we were ranked #4. And in El Mundo, which is a Spanish newspaper, we've been ranked for 9 consecutive years as the best master's program in Spain. So of all this, we're very proud of. So we're very proud of our faculty members who provide a top-notch education to our students.
Yes.
We're very grateful to our students because then they get great opportunities, and they also work with the companies on the thesis projects that Alvaro will tell you more about later. And they are the best ambassadors of the program that anyone can have. So the same way that I was talking to Alvaro before he decided to enroll in the program, we asked for alumni to talk to current students. The other day we had a visit from a potential student. So Alvaro took the time to talk to him. He came to class. So definitely there's a lot of things that are involved in this ranking program. But if you ask me, so for one, the professors or the education that the students get, and on the other, the students. And so this is Chris Kaplis. So if some of you have been taking any of the online courses, or if you've taken the whole MicroMaster, you've seen a lot of him. So this is Dr. Kaplis. So he's the executive director of the Center for Transportation and Logistics. You will also get an opportunity to meet him in January at MIT, because he's around, because he conducts some of the interviews of the speakers. So as I do every time, so this is something that he said, so I don't like to just, so I will just read what he said. So supply chain management is the art and science of getting products from where they're made, where you, the consumer, want them to be. So it's pretty basic, but it's pretty obvious as well. So this would be more in details about the Global Supply Chain Management Program that we mentioned about. It's the first time that we're offering it. We're partnering with a center that we know pretty well. In fact, the director of the Malaysia Center used to be the director of the ZLC Center a few years ago. So the programs are based on the same curriculum. So the courses that the students will take in Malaysia in the spring are going to be almost the same as the ones that the students can take. There may be a difference in the electives that they will be offered, but the core courses will remain the same. So the programs are full-time. So when I say full-time, it really is full-time.
Yes.
And now that we moved here to Expo, we see it even more. So the students come during the weekends, stay here long hours.
We live here.
Yeah, so probably you would not need accommodation because some of the students do actually live here, meaning that they spend a lot of time. This is not to scare you, it is intensive, but it's manageable. So
Yes,
the students,
absolutely.
all the students that started the program are here.
It's demanding, but if you spend the time studying and doing the exercises, the assignments that you're supposed to, you really learn, and it's really rewarding spending time here, working with colleagues and everything. I'm pretty happy about how the master is going, and I can only recommend it.
Great. So also, as you can see, Alvaro is on the picture. So the program, yes, so a small class size. Since this is going to be our first year, we're not aiming to have more than 10 students in the program, but you won't be feeling lonely because you will be either joining students in the residential program here in Spain or the students on the residential program in Malaysia. So this is an excellent opportunity to experience like studying in different places. So you get the opportunity to study in Spain, then to study in the US, and then to study in Malaysia. So that's going to be very enriching for your future curriculum as well. Here you can just see the jump, so how the program would be structured. The structure of the program, so I'll go into detail on this one, and then you will see that we have a similar slide for the ZLOG program, but it will be pretty much the same. So since you guys will start regardless the program here in Spain, The idea is that you get here mid-August, and we're going to have some team building and career workshops. Team building, we think that it's important that you guys get to know one another before the start of the academic year.
And it's fun.
And it's a lot of fun as well. So it's important to have that component in the program that is not as serious and, okay, now I don't have time to do anything for I don't know how many months. Just believe us when I said that, yes, it's intensive, it's demanding, but there is time to do other things. And I'm sure that Alvaro can also say that there's plenty of things to do in Zaragoza, that we have gastronomic, you can eat very well here, you can go out, you can visit places because of where we're located.
Well and cheap. There's also this thing on Thursdays. As we mentioned, we spend like most of the day here at the library or in class. But on Thursdays, there's this thing called Huepincho, which is like a mix of Thursday and pinchos. And actually, you can just go have some drinks with your colleagues and some tapas for just €2. With maybe 2 or 3 tapas, you can have a dinner which will cost maybe €8. And that is some good thing to do after studying and hanging out with your colleagues, with your friends. At the time, for sure, friends from the many hours that we spend together. But it's definitely a good thing to get some fresh air.
Yeah, so besides so the team building and the career workshop that we will have for the students, so we will put together what we call the resume book, and we have a template that all the centers use for the scale network. So we have a person that is dedicated to helping the students with career development. So one of the things is that she will go over the resumes. She put together the resume book that we're going to send over to companies for thesis projects and also for recruitment purposes, and she can also conduct some mock interviews. The preparatory sessions that we have on mathematics and finance are aimed mainly for people who do not have like the strongest analytical background, so that you get a flavor of what's going to happen like in the months to come. The A term that you see there, the focus is systems and methods. So the idea is that you guys are going to acquire the fundamentals of supply chain that you will apply to your future professional life, but also that you would need to apply for your thesis project. When we go to MIT, so in January, the focus here is leadership and management. And we will talk a little bit more into detail, and Alvaro can tell you about the activities that took place while we were there. And now we would be in the specialization part. So the students that are going to be enrolled in the Global Supply Chain Management program at that time will be going to Malaysia, and the students on the other 2 programs will come here to Spain. But the subjects, the courses are going to be the same, and there's going to be a lot of time to focus on your master thesis, because sometimes we find that the companies do not provide all the data needed like right at the beginning of the project and the academic year. So the workload in terms of active learning sessions is going to be fewer sessions, so that you can focus more on the thesis project, but also if you're looking for a job, so that you can also start working on your presentations, or if you need to go for an interview abroad, so that there is time for everything. And this is actually a picture of a couple of weeks ago when we were at MIT. There's different snaps, so you can see the famous dome, and of course Alvaro is there. Alvaro is everywhere. So some of the students, yes, he's on the front row. On your right, we have one of the presentations by senior manager of Adidas. Below we have 2 of our students who actually won the best poster for their research project, and this is something that we're actually very proud of. 94 posters were presented, and it's the first time that our program won the grand prize. So we're very proud of our two ladies there. And on your right at the bottom, you see, so there is another speaker, and she's surrounded by the director of the Supply Chain Management Program, Katie Date, who is the manager of outreach, Joshi Sheffi, and Chris Cutlass. So Alvaro, do you want to say a little bit more about what you guys did? And
it's been a great experience, the Scale Connect at MIT. For sure, we were all looking forward to this experience, not only because of you get to travel there to Boston, but also because of the networking opportunities with people from, I think we were around 180 students from 40 different countries. So you get to interact with many different cultures, people with many different backgrounds working in teams. The experience also got us to, the Scale Connect got us to work in teams towards a common goal, which was there were many competitions. And it is really good, actually. It gets very, very intense. In just 3 weeks, you make also very good connections and friendship with people from different parts of the world. That is, from my point of view, one of the main advantages that we take out of the Scale Connect experience. And you also get, apart from all activities that are organized, we also sign up for some seminars from Esther Duflo, the current Nobel Prize winner in economics, and also nuts and bolts, some sessions on entrepreneurship at MIT, like the top state-of-the-art knowledge is passed on to you at the place where things happen, actually.
Yeah, so the students this year, so the schedule usually changes from one year to the other. So this year, in terms of courses, there was a course on Supply Chain Guru by Lamasoft, and also the So Demanding Python.
Yes.
And we had some talks by MIT professors and senior executives in supply chain. And there were some tours in the Massachusetts area. Yes. And so Alvaro mentioned networking, and it's true that the main idea of the whole Scale Connect is to network. And the big network event so is the Research Expo. That's what we were talking briefly about, the best poster. So the students get to present their thesis project in the shape of a poster in a plasma TV. And there were about 200 participants this year who attended. It's not like each group has to present their poster. So the students are standing in front of their poster, and people are passing by, giving them tips, asking things. So it's a great networking opportunity for them also to collect some business cards.
Also because people from the industry come to visit us at MIT. And to see what you're doing, maybe in my case, I can tell more about this later, but with my colleague, we're working on an inventory optimization project, and people from the industry who really know about inventory optimization, they come to see you and ask you about this approach that you're taking to see if they can maybe take some advice from you. This was a really, really, really interesting expo, the research expo.
Thank you, Alvaro. And then, so we're talking about the thesis project. So then again, this is common to the Global Supply Chain Management Program and the ZLOG Presidential Program. So every student is supposed to work on a thesis project. Sometimes during the admissions process, I get the question, so do I need to come up with a project? No. So back in 2008, we created the Zaragoza Academic Partners Program. So we've been working with different multinationals in all the different sectors. So these projects are going to be real-life supply chain problems that the companies are facing at that point. So during the summer, we collect proposals from the companies. And the idea would be that the companies come and present the projects to the students mid-September. For one, we give the opportunity to the companies to interview the students if they want, if the skills match, or if they think, okay, yes, I want to work with Alvaro, or sometimes the companies will just say, okay, we're just happy with the students that you assign because they work with us and they know that the students are going to provide a good job. Or sometimes the companies that they will say, okay, we're willing to interview as many people as interested in the project. So then again, once the companies have presented, they have interviewed, and also we have collected the feedback from the students as to which would be the projects that they would be more interested in. We proceed with the thesis matching. It's not always an easy exercise, but we try to make everybody happy. So for one, the companies, and also the students. And once the project is kicked off, so from October until May, the communication between the company and the students, it really depends on the company. Alvaro got the opportunity already to visit the company, and maybe
yes.
he will be requested to go once more.
Yes.
So mainly we work for the ZLOG program with companies in Europe, but we do have a couple of companies based in the US. These are the companies that our colleagues in Malaysia have worked with in the past. So as you can see, and you will see later with the ZLOG program, these are all multinationals, pretty well known
yes.
in all the different sectors. Yes, so we cannot tell you, we cannot disclose the company that Alvaro is working with at the moment because of the NDA. But he can, of course, tell you about the topic and what they're working on and what they're researching on, because he and his partner are fully into it right
yes.
now.
Yeah, it's actually, as Marta said, is top companies in each industry. They come here asking for help because regardless of the industry, they all have supply chain and they all are facing some problems, either with inventory optimization, with network design. So they do come here, and the good thing is based on the good job that our colleagues from previous year have done. They do trust the institution, and as Marta said, my colleague and I, we got the chance to visit the headquarters, and top managers from the company, they sat down with us and they were actually listening to what we had to say. You don't get that usually. So that was really, really good. And also, you do have to take these thesis projects as a continuous recruitment process, because it is something that already happened, that a previous student that performed well with the partners, they got a job offers after the thesis. So I don't know you, but I will be willing to work for any of these companies that are here in the presentation for sure. So it is a really good thing, absolutely.
Okay, so then it's time to celebrate. So this could be after 10 months of hard work. So of course you get if you're enrolled in this program, you get you are the only ones with an opportunity to come and graduate twice. So that means that you can either attend the graduation ceremony in Malaysia. You can come and attend the ceremony with everyone here in Zaragoza, or you can attend both. So it's feasible, this is for sure, because Joshi Shefik, who's going to be attending both ceremonies, is going to come from Malaysia. So it really is going to be up to you to decide whether you want to be participating in one or the two graduation ceremonies. If we talk about the key dates regarding the admissions process, so we are actually on the round 3 deadline. So you will need to submit your applications materials before March 1st. Just bear in mind that this is not like the last chance that you will have to apply, because we then proceed with rolling admissions. So what does this mean? It means that if you're an international student that would need a visa to come to study in Spain and Malaysia, then you cannot submit your application later than May 15th. That's mainly because of visa purposes. So it takes some time to get a visa for one country. So imagine if you need to apply for three different visas. If you're a European student that will not need a visa for Spain mainly, that means that you can apply until July 15th. And In some cases, we had students who applied even beyond that deadline. People who decided, okay, it's time for me to move on and do something different. I want to study. And am I too late? This is 5th of August for a 15th of August start date. No, it's not too late. So really, if you want to apply, this is something that you really need to have in mind.
Can I say something
Of
about
course,
this?
yes.
If you're somewhere guessing is, should I go for the master, should I wait, or should I apply for a different one? I was in the same situation. Marta and I, we've been talking for 3 years before I finally applied for admissions. And it's definitely one of the best decisions I have taken in the last few years, because the content that we learn is really, really high valuable. And you will see that when you go to the companies. And it is definitely a decision I will never regret, based on how the master is going, based on what we are learning, and based on the opportunities, recruitment opportunities that seems to come right now. So definitely go for it.
He's an excellent ambassador already. Okay.
What can I say?
So then this is something that I've been getting a lot of questions about financial aid for the Global Supply Chain Management Program. So when we were at MIT, this was a topic that was discussed among the directors of the 2 centers. So now we do have some partial scholarships available for the Global Supply Chain Management Program, and also a loan that can be available and that could cover up to 50% of tuition. The scholarships are the ones that you can see on the screen. So there is the general one, which is the supporting promising professionals. The coverage is 25%, and the deadline to apply would be May 31st. We have one specific scholarship for Asian countries, and that the coverage would be 50%. And for the women out there, we also have a 50% scholarship. The deadlines are the same to apply for the scholarships. One recurring questions that I get is, how do I apply for the scholarship? Of course, you cannot apply for the scholarships until you're admitted to the program. The admission requirements that you can see here. So all the scale centers, we share the application form, and which is located on GradApply. That's the platform. So this is not like you need to upload all the documents and then submit. I mean, if you have your statement, then you upload it and you save it for later. If you want to add your resume, you can upload it. If you're in the process of getting a GMAT or a GRE, and also if you've taken already the SCOX, or the supply chain online course, you can also upload them. You can see on the screen that it says that it can be waived when shown proof of excellent quantitative skills. So mainly it would be if you come from an engineering background, what you can do is send us your transcripts, and then we can assess whether you need to take the GMAT or GRE. So in those cases, usually your requirement is going to be waived, because we are sure that you can cope with the analytical skills. But we've had different students from different backgrounds, because I have not mentioned it yet, but diversity is very important for us. So diversity not only in terms of nationalities that it is, but also in terms of background, so educational background, professional background. So yes, if we have someone who comes from political science, where you would not think that they have that component, we would need GMAT and GRE. And I can tell you, so in some cases, it doesn't mean anything if you come from a different background. If you're good with math and you can cope with strong analytical skills, then there's no reason why you should not be admitted. Of course, there is also the official English language. Then again, for non-native speaker, if you work in a country where your the common language is English, or if you studied in English, then we can also consider waiving the requirements. We would also request your transcripts and diploma, 2 letters of recommendation, and a video statement. The video statement, people usually get a bit scared of. It's not like you need to record the video right away. The system will prompt you to respond to 3 questions, and you don't have like the pressure of responding in 30 seconds. Yes. And that's my only test, and do it. So you can test it as many times. Yes. what we're looking here is for your soft skills. So in some cases, we get the opportunity to see some of the students, but because of the distance, this is a way for us to see. So it's important, and this I say it every time because we see it in some of the application. We know that you can read from the screen, but that's not what we're looking for. So if we see that you're just saying very fast what is written on your screen, that's a video statement that doesn't say really much about you to us. So just prepare the video, be yourself, and be natural. And this would be what it looks like on the platform.
Sounds familiar.
Sounds familiar, right? And this is another familiar face. So
Yes.
Josie is the founder of all the skill centers. He's the reason why all of us are
Yes.
not only here in Zaragoza, but also in Malaysia and all the other skill centers. So then again, you can read his quote. Josie is the guru by excellence. And he was one of the speakers at MIT. He also comes here to Zaragoza for 3-4 days to give some sessions to our students. He released a new book, and he was kind enough to offer it to our students in January. He had a long queue of students waiting for the book to be signed.
And actually, an interesting note on this is that when he came to Zaragoza to teach us and talk about resilience, which is what his mainly research is, he also started talking about his new book, the one he's right now working on. And we got the opportunity to talk to him and to ask him about what's the position of MIT regarding blockchain, what's the position of MIT regarding AI. It was a really a good thing to have someone like Dr. Joseph Sheffi telling you about these new technologies. It was really good.
Okay, so this is our START program. So 16 generations already that have gone through our program. So as you can see, so it's basically the same as what we mentioned before, so small class size. In the current class, we have 20 students. We won't have more than, say, 30. We are a family program, let's put it like this way. We have 5-6 full-time faculty members, also from different diverse backgrounds. So we wanted to be that way. We want for the students to get access to the faculty and also to the other staff members very easily. So we are not a big business school where Alvaro would not just be Alvaro, it would be maybe a student ID number. So that's very important for us. So the faculty members are also international, and needless to say, all our programs are fully taught in English.
And they do care about you. This is important. They care that you learn, that you understand the concepts. It is really, they do help a lot.
And here, so you see the program structure is basically the same. So as I mentioned, maybe the only difference would be the electives. So our electives are offered to the students late fall, after we have a faculty meeting where our faculty members decide, okay, so this year I'm going to offer this elective, and they're actually going to start teaching them in a couple of weeks. Experiential learning, so as we had in the previous slides about the thesis project. So then again, you can see like all the different companies that we have worked with. So you can see from oil and gas, pharmaceutical, chemical, consumer goods, you name them. I mean, all the different sectors are represented here.
Whatever industry, there is a big player related to the center. Yes.
And if we talk about career opportunities, so as I mentioned, we do not have, it's not a placement agency that we have here, but it's true that given that the companies that we work with for thesis projects, or also because we have some alumni working for these companies, they know, okay, why should you advertise any positions when you know that you can find the right people in the program? So we are actually starting with our recruitment process now, and you can see there where our alumni are working, and then again, so all the different sectors could be represented. if you want to mention something.
Yeah,
also.
actually, I'm seeing some companies that are actually coming to interview in the upcoming weeks. I can see Avinbed, Johnson and Johnson. They are coming to have interviews here in house. But this is not only the only opportunity. Based on the good reputation of the master, you can actually talk to or search on LinkedIn the company you would like to work for, and search if there is already a scale connect alumni working there, and try to connect with them, and for sure they will be more than willing to help you in the recruitment process. So it's a great opportunity to look for a new challenge in a different industry, or to push up your career. Definitely.
And I think that once again, the key word here is networking. So
Yes.
use your networking. Alumni are great, but also, as Alvaro mentioned, so people from the other centers, from the other skill centers, are going to be maybe an opportunity for employment afterwards. So use all the networking opportunities that you have to get access to the companies, to get access to people who may open doors for you for your future career.
Just to put an example, from the 3 weeks at MIT, I got to know a girl from Mexico working in Accenture in the United States right now. And I just asked her last week, hey, would you mind sharing the contact person for recruitment in Europe? And she said, like, just give me a couple of days and I will come back to you. So networking is really a thing that it's working well within the ScaleConnect.
Yeah. And here you have an example of, yes, so this is Nadia. Nadia came from Germany, and she's currently working for PepsiCo in Spain. So as Alvaro mentioned, so Nadia last year, she worked on her project with PepsiCo. And this is what she had to say. So during the ZLOG, we learned about analytical methods, supply chain concepts that we apply practical thesis projects. This is what makes the knowledge realistic to me. So this summarizes very well what she thought about the program, like in just one quote.
I couldn't agree more.
And I mean, it's true that the experiential learning that you're going to get working with a company is like if you were actually doing an internship with a company.
Yes.
And sometimes it's true that we need to tell the companies, okay, so the students are not your employees, they're actually studying. And but usually, so we have companies that have worked with us for many years and who have sponsored more than 10 or 12 projects. So definitely a great opportunity for the students. And this would be like a general student profile of the ZLOG class. So it changes. So this is general, like over the years. It's true that we get a big chunk of our students to come from the different engineering branches, but we have people from all the different backgrounds. So I mentioned political science, but we have people from economics, from mathematics. We have people who studied a dual degree like Alvaro here, who also studied law, and we had people who come from geography, philosophy, who you would not think that would go for this master, but actually it's also feasible. The average age would be 31. It's true that we have people on both sides. This year we have recent graduates, but we've seen really great potential for the future, and we have people with more than 15, 20 years of work experience.
Yes.
So a couple of years ago we had one person in the class who was on the senior side of the class, who was a bit concerned about, oh, is this the right program for me to be in class with people who are half my age? And he left the program, and he said, well, this was the best decision that I've taken. I think that I contributed a lot to the students given my background, but what the students on the other side could contribute to me, who had been away from university for many years. So it was a good compliment. Years of experience, the median would be six years and a half. and 10 to 12 countries of origin in each class. Then again, we need to do better in terms of gender, so we're hoping that there will be more women that will apply to our programs for next academic year. So any women attending today, let's encourage you to apply.
No, but actually that is one of the best things from my point of view in class, this diversity. When we get in class and we are discussing some business case or anything, different people from different backgrounds, they all have a different opinion. And it's really a reward in just listening to what other people have to say or the different points of view to the same problem. So it is really, really good, actually.
Yeah, then again, so the dates don't change here. So if you were listening to us before, so the dates for the deadlines are the same. And then for the ZLOG program, we do have a very good financial aid program. We have a loan which could be available to cover up to 70% of tuition, and we go from partial to full scholarships for the ZLOG. So I won't go one by one because you will get to see them, but as you can see, so there's plenty of opportunities, and we would not like for people not to enroll in their program because of financial reasons. Alvaro here got awarded one of the scholarships. So, yes. Alvaro?
Yeah, the best tip that I can give here is just try. You're not losing anything just by trying. The worst thing that may happen to you if you don't get it is that you get some kind of warm up, doing some research. If you're applying for an essay, or you just practice a bit your writing skills. So definitely go for it again and apply. The best thing you can have is you get a reduction on the tuition price. So. Yeah. I can only encourage you to try.
And also it's important to mention that you can apply to several scholarships. So they won't be cumulative, but you can apply to different ones. So for example, if you're a woman, if you're Spanish, then you can apply for the Women in Logistics, you can apply for the European scholarship, you can apply for the Spanish Citizen Scholarship, so apply for them all. So there's different applications for each. But do apply to all of them, because the more that you apply, the bigger the chances to get a scholarship.
And also do some research on your home country, because some colleagues here, they are having some scholarships from their home countries. So it is also another chance to help you with.
Okay, and last but not least, so we have our blended program. So all of you who are undertaking the MicroMasters, so the program has 5 online courses that are on the EDX platform. It can take from 12 months to 18 months to complete the 5 online courses. Once you get these courses, then you need to pass the comprehensive exam, and then you get the MicroMaster credential, and then so only after you get the MicroMaster you can apply for the blended program. So the blended program would be the first 3 weeks at MIT. So even though for us in the administration we get to work with the students from early stages, so for the students to start interacting with one another, so that would happen at MIT. I know that the students were not very happy the first day at MIT, so the only time that we found to meet was at 7:30 in the morning on the first day, but we thought that it was very important that our students, our cohorts, got to meet before the start of all the academic sessions. And then so the blended students are already here with us, and they will be here until graduation. And I think that I have a problem with the slide, but I can tell you what was afterwards. So it was the student profile, and oh, there you go, Alvaro saved me. So the student profile, here we have the age average is a bit higher. It's usually more senior people, and in some cases, people who are sponsored by their companies. So sometimes 10 months is too long, 5 months, maybe the companies, okay, yes, we can go by letting you go for 5 months if you come back. Then again, you can see the percentages of men and women. Here, the background is a bit more diverse, in the sense that 50% would come from engineering, but the rest from a different background. And then all the different kinds of countries of origin will be a bit fewer than in the residential program, and a bit more years of experience. But then again, we have some young people and some people with more seniority.
Mm-hmm.
And this is David. David graduated last May, so he's from the Czech Republic, and he's currently working for Leica in Switzerland. So you see that also our students get to move quite a lot within companies and within countries. So he's an example of someone who came working for the company where he's at the moment. So he got a promotion after he graduated from the program. And then again, so that's what he told us when he graduated. And so being an engineer and manager in global companies required extensive knowledge in areas such as supply chain strategy, logistics, finance, data analyzing technique on top of traditional engineering disciplines. ZLOG program was a great fit for me to expand the knowledge in those fields just for months interruption in my current role. Gain qualification, opened the doors into challenging diverse projects after my full return to work. And in the meantime, he also found time to be a dad, so very complete.
Yes.
The dates here are different, so we do not have, we only have 2 round deadlines. So the next one coming up would be May 1st. And here there are no rolling admissions. So if you miss the November 1 deadline, then just make sure that you have all your application materials ready for the second round deadline. And of course, as I mentioned, the ZLC is a family. It's a small center. We all know each other very well. So there is great interaction. So not only between the students and the staff in the program, between students and the students in the other programs. We also have a part-time program that is taught in Spanish because of, with all the faculty members, of course, the teaching assistant and all the staff members going from marketing, IT, you name it. So these are some of the activities that have happened in the past. So the running team, so we will see if there's a running team for next year when the students arrive. That you want to say something about the activity that we did with you at the beginning of the academic year?
It was fun actually, and again, it got us to get to know each other. We were playing football, if you like football. There were also some guys playing paddle. It's I don't know if you know that, but it's very famous in Argentina. Someone from Argentina is watching us, also in Spain. And there were also some table games, and we had a lot of fun. We got to, because it was at the beginning, I think I remember it was in September or October. So maybe you don't know that well each other yet, but definitely there are many good activities organized by the institution to make you network and make the best of the year. And this was just one of them.
Yeah, and this is all from us. So now we're ready to take any of your questions. So both Alvaro and myself talk a lot. So now we're ready to respond to any questions that you may have.
Yes, exactly. Marta, also get a sip of water because we have a lot of questions to answer. I want to thank, I know. I want to thank Marta and Alvaro for their time. I also want to thank our participants who have joined from all over the world, from Brazil, from South Africa, from Egypt, from a lot of places. Thank you for taking the time of your morning, of your afternoon, your evening, and we can begin with the questions. Please submit everything that you want to know using the Q&A section that you have on the bottom of your screen. Take note of ZLC's contacts that you see on the screen, and also keep an eye out for our email tomorrow with the brochures, all the information that you need to know to contact and possibly apply for one of the programs. Marta, I think this is something that needs to be cleared up. It was a question about the Global Master. If it was offered by ZLC or by MISI?
Yeah, no, so the degrees that we presented today, they are all awarded by the University of Zaragoza. So the degree is conferred by the university, and you will also get a certificate of completion from MIT Global Scale Network.
Okay, perfect. I hope it's clear for our participant that asked before. What else do we have here? Okay. What is the cutoff mark to get considered for admission in the blended program? And also, what is the IELTS requirement?
Okay, so I'll start with the last. So for IELTS, the minimum that we will require is 7. And for the online courses, the minimum, it's on percentile, so it would be 80%. Okay.
There are a lot of letters in this question, so I'm really sorry if I get confused. Kindly give some information about MSCMX. What is the difference between SCMB, ZLOG-B, and MSCMX?
Okay, so I think I got that question. So it's what's the difference between the blended options like offered by the different scale centers? So the blended program, as I mentioned, in all the different centers will start in January, and then I will follow the curriculum that it's being taught in the residential program. So the only difference between the curriculums in MIT and the different scale networks could be the electives. So while our electives are still very much focused on supply chain, students in the SCMB program can take general MBA electives either at Sloan and Harvard.
Okay.
I hope that answers your question.
I hope so too. Let me know the participant who wrote about the difference between the programs. If it's clear, we can go back to it afterwards. We had a participant asking, is it feasible to get a job after the master's? Is it common for the students to be employed after the programs? Maybe Alvaro can also comment on that.
Yes, so my personal experience, I quit my job in Germany, in a multinational in Germany, and what I'm saying, as I said before, I'm more than happy of doing that. I regret that decision. I don't regret that decision at all. And what we can see is based on the network or the partners that ZLC has. Many companies are coming, and many companies already showed their interest in interviewing me or other colleagues as well. So I do not have a job offer right now because in Europe things start right now in February to incorporate to the different companies around June, July, August, depend on the company. But definitely the expectations are really high, just based on the number of companies that are interested in having interviews with us. It's the opposite. It's not we are going and coming after the companies, but they come after us because of the knowledge that we acquire in the masters.
Yeah, and overall, so around 70% of our students will get a job offer before graduation, and like the 100% would be within 6 months. Then again, it will depend on what you guys are looking for after graduation, and there will be a lot of effort that you have to put into it as well. Like already, if there's any sectors that you would not like to work for, any companies that you do not wish to work for, depending also on your nationality, it could be to search those companies that are willing to sponsor work permits. So that's also, so besides the coursework and the thesis, there is the job search process. As already said, so we will help as much as we can, but the responsibility of finding a job is the students as well. So it's important to point that out as well.
I can also add on this that many colleagues are also getting contact on LinkedIn, and the recruiters are very interested in their different profiles. So besides from the interviews that we are having here, through LinkedIn, we are also we are being in contact, and also we are approaching the companies that we do want to have interviews with.
And already you have a very good resume before you start with the program, but the fact that you're adding to your curriculum and to your LinkedIn that you're going to graduate from this program,
yes,
is definitely going to open doors for you.
Scale, connect, opens some doors.
Okay, I have two very interesting questions here. Would it make sense to take the MicroMasters and then enroll in the full ZLOG program? 10 months. This participant has been taking the MIT MicroMaster program, so it can be used in place of the GMAT. What do you think, Marta?
Definitely, we do have one of our current students who took all the online courses. She got the accreditation of the MicroMasters. She actually worked as a community TA for the online programs, and she's enrolled in the full-time program. So as for the question regarding waiving the GMAT, so if you have already taken the SCOX course and you got a score which is 80% of higher, then that's something that we're going to consider in lieu of GMAT or GRE.
Okay, I hope that's clear. You know, Marta, we have participants from all over the world, and some of them, because the education system is very different, have not finished their bachelor yet. So what happens? Can they still apply?
I mean, they can still apply if they are graduated by the time we start the program, but they would need to have some work experience. So when we say that we admit recent graduates, that's perfectly true, but we would need to have some working experience that it's going to be helpful also, not only for the student, but also for the companies that will come and recruit. Because of course they know that the skills are going to be acquired in the program, but some experience, it doesn't need to be experience in supply chain, but some relevant experience could be needed.
Okay, okay, that's good to know. Do you have current or past students that have children or family? Is it possible to take on this path if you have family or children?
Yes, we have 2 students from the residential program. They have children, and it's possible. Although when the peak season comes, it's hard because they do also have to manage to spend time with the family. It's not that they do have to, but they want to. But definitely possible. And here we have, like as Marta said, we are like a small family. We help each other. At some point, maybe they do need help in explaining some assignment or something. So we help each other for sure, regardless of children or family situation. But if you do have a family, no problem.
Yeah, no problem at all. And also we have a person in the program that helps students with accommodation, in the transition of converting your visa into a student ID card. So if you're planning on coming with your family, you could be on that situation of where you will be applying for the visa together with your partner, and if you need a school for your children, we can help with that. So that won't be an issue. It's true that you won't see your partner maybe as much as you would want to,
yes,
because of the intensity of the program, but yes, we had families in the past, and we do hope that that's going to happen in the future.
He or she may get mad at some point, but it's just the workload. But it is doable for sure.
Yeah, it's for the future.
Yes,
it's an
investment.
It's an investment. Yes, exactly. Marta, can we go through the costs of the masters? And can we also confirm to our participants that the scholarships are only partial? There are no full scholarships?
Is this for the residential program, the ZLOG program?
Yes.
Yeah, so the tuition is 24,300, That's correct. So there's the partial scholarships, which are usually 25%, except for the women and European, which is 50%. And we have the master essay competition that would cover 20,000 euros.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much. For admissions, for application, what about the students that are not European but live in Europe? Is it the same for them, the same procedure?
It will really depend on what status they are in that country in particular. If they're working and they have a valid work permit, then we can go to the foreign police office here in Zaragoza and do the necessary paperwork. If they are on a student visa, then we will need to see whether we can extend it from here and that they won't have to go through the same process again. So in that case, we will go one by one and given the current situation of each student.
Okay, so you would have to analyze each case, each applicant.
Yeah.
But the application process is the same for everyone, okay, regardless of which center you apply for, MIT, MISI, or Zaragoza. It's the same application process.
Okay. What else do we have here? We had a question about the thesis program. Where is it? Okay. Would the students be able to get thesis projects that are feasible for both Spanish and Malaysian market scenarios?
Okay, yeah, so this I didn't mention. So students who will be enrolled in the Global Supply Chain Program will do their project with Malaysia, mainly because students will start working on it remotely in October here, so at the same time as the residential students, but we'll have like the big workload of the thesis project while they're in Malaysia. So the projects will be in collaboration with the sponsoring companies in Malaysia.
Okay, I hope that's clear. Let's go back to the requirements. In which cases, Marta, would the English certificate and the GMAT be waived? So for example, if someone has studied in English, they could, yes, you could waive the English certificate.
Yeah, so that would be education in English, or if you work in English, I mean, on your current work and you use English as the primary language.
Same with me.
Yeah. In the case of the GMAT and GRE, as I mentioned, so mainly if you come from an engineering background, and the only thing that you would need to do in that case is send us over your transcript so that we can assess waiving the requirement. Also, if you come from mathematics or physics or one of these very difficult degrees, we can also consider waiving the requirement. But of course, if you come from a not so analytical background, then definitely you need to take either one of those tests so that we can assess your analytical skills.
Okay. Can the students apply for the 10-month programs and the blended at the same time?
For the first round deadline, yes, but given that now we have, so for the ZLOG residential and for the GSEM, the deadline, which is March 1st, you won't be able to apply for the blended, but you can apply then in May. So you can apply to the programs, but not at the same time right now.
Okay. And how many students do you accept for the ZLOG program?
It will be around 20 to 25, which is the size that we usually have.
Okay. Question here, do ZLOG program students with a desire, no, I have to start again, sorry. Do students go to the ZLOG program with a desire to return back to the company where they were working previously? Has it happened before? Do you advise against it?
I mean that this is something that each student, for each student to decide.
Personal, I guess.
It's a bit personal. So some students do get back to their companies. Yes. Some students just quit everything to come to the program, and they're open into whatever comes in the future. it really depends. I mean, from what Alvaro and I discussed at the beginning of the academic year, he's already changing his mind
Yes.
a few times. So he left his job in Germany to come to Spain with the idea of staying here in Spain. But who knows what may happen in the next few months.
Okay.
But definitely, in my case, for instance, I've been offered to come back to my previous company, but given the huge, the broad range of opportunities that are just popping up, I just don't consider that option.
Okay. What did you study before, Alvaro? Sorry?
I studied law and international business.
Okay.
It's not a problem if you're not an engineer. Well, you do need to like math a bit at least, but it's definitely not a problem. There are also some two colleagues that study economics and another colleague that study law and business as well. So the background is very diverse.
Okay. Okay. I got a question here about the MIT Alumni Network. What are the benefits after taking one of these programs of being part of the MIT Alumni Network?
Then again, I don't want to be repetitive, but it would be the network.
Yes, exactly.
Getting to know people from everywhere in the world, every industry, they do work in top companies. So if for some reason, at some point, you do want to change industry or change job, most certainly you will have someone in your network that works in that company or that industry that you're willing to switch into.
And that you can reach out for advice.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, we're almost done with the questions. I'm going to read the last one. Is a degree in supply chain or finance considered technical enough to waive the GMAT?
So, sorry, Lucy, what was the question?
If a degree in supply chain or finance would be considered technical enough to waive the GMAT?
Yes, it's more than enough. In my case, I was working at the same time that I took the GMAT, and I prepared for 6 weeks, and it was more than enough to get the required mark. So do not worry about the GMAT. It's just another exam, and it helps as a warm-up for the master.
Yeah, and also if you think that maybe in the courses that you took, you have those skills, feel free to send me the transcript so that we can assess.
Okay.
Yes.
Last question, because it's from Alex and he is connected from Singapore, so I will read these questions because he stayed connected during the entire presentation. For the global program, does it start in July?
No, Alex, so the program starts mid-August because the residential program and the global program will start here in Spain. So start date is the same, is mid-August.
Okay, so mid-August, Alex. Not July? Okay. I hope that's clear, because he also said the sequence for the program must be started in Spain first, or alternatively, can I start in Malaysia?
No, so the start is in Spain for the Global Supply Chain Management Program, then the 3 weeks at MIT in January, and then from February until completion of the master end of May, it would be in Malaysia.
Okay, I hope that's clear, Alex. Let me know ASAP if you still have doubts. No, that's good. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, I want to thank Marta and Alvaro. Do you have anything else to add besides waiting for the applications to come in?
Yeah, if just a quick note, if someone has any doubt or still have questions, they can just search me on LinkedIn and drop the question. I'm more than happy to help or to answer whatever it is that you are considering.
So you see, you don't need to write to me, you can just go to Alvaro.
No, maybe not like the application process, but living in Zaragoza, or how is the experience with the professor, the student, and the workload.
Definitely, talk to Alvaro.
name, Alvaro Lerma. Write down
Yes.
and search
Yes.
on LinkedIn. Yeah.
Yes, Alvaro Lerma and master student,
Associate.
master candidate. It's me.
Okay, thank you also to Marta.
Well, thank you very much, and I hope that you also got the feeling that there
Yeah,
is like
family.
yes.
And we like helping others, so it is true what we say.
Thank you very much. Thank you to everyone that wrote a positive message. Nora, thank you so much for sharing with us this information. Arjit, thank you for your support. Stephanie and Diara, thank you and thanks. Let us know what you thought of this webinar. It was hosted by DocCity in partnership with Zaragoza Logistics Center. I hope to see you all very soon. Keep an eye out for our email tomorrow. And have a good morning, evening, afternoon, wherever you are. Thanks a lot and see you next time. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you for attending.
Go for it.